Today's racing is proudly brought to you by Sparacio'S Speed Shop and QC Racing. Welcome back to the Aussie Diecast Racing League. This is Sam Sparacio'S Mustang Challenge, semi-final number 3. Let's head down and meet the drivers. First finalist today in the 2015 Mustang GT, it's Griffin Soul. Driver number 2 in the 2018 Custom GT, it's Chris Hood. Finalist number 3 in the 1967 GT Mustang, it's Po Boy. And finalist number 4 in the 2010 GT, it's Cooper Francis. Let's head up to Sportsbet and check out the odds for semi-final number 3. Po Boy at $1.50, Cooper Francis $1.90, Griffin Soul $2, and Chris Hood sits at $2.60. Cars are ready to roll for race number 1 here. We've got Po Boy and Griffin Soul on pole for the first race of the day. Lights begin to count down. Away we go. That's a very quick start there by Po Boy. Negotiates the second corner well. Spins out of control on the home turn. He's backwards. Here comes Hood. What a finish! The time isn't quick at all. 6.07. But you could throw a tissue over that group of cars as they went across the finish line in race number 1. Let's have a look at the replay, see if we can see what happened here. Po Boy was absolutely flying. There was trouble behind between Chris Hood and Griffin Soul. And this is where Griffin Soul T-boned Po Boy and put him out of contention just there. And Chris Hood looks like he's got the victory. We'll have to have a look at the front on vision to confirm. Here comes Hood. He's just there, just in front of Po Boy. Great drive there by Chris Hood. So there you see Chris Hood over Po Boy. Griffin Soul and Cooper Francis there in 4th. Ladder tells the same story. Chris Hood sitting on 5, Po Boy 3, Griffin Soul 2, and Cooper Francis on 1 as they move up for race number 2. We've got Cooper Francis and Po Boy up the front for this one. Cars are ready to rock and roll. Drivers are strapped in. The lights count down. The lights go out and the cars take off. What a great start there by Po Boy once again. But he's turned himself around. Cooper Francis backwards. He's flipped the ground. Oh, over the top comes Cooper Francis. What a drive by the young fella from America in the 2010 GT Mustang. Well, Po Boy looked like he had it all sewn up. He got a bit loose, forgot where he was. And it's actually a dead heat. A dead heat between Po Boy and Cooper Francis. Griffin Soul 3rd. Chris Hood, after winning, comes in last in race number 2. Well, that was all sorts of chaos as they head down the second to last straight. Heading around the home turn, Po Boy had it won until he got out of control, lost his control of the car, and that left the door open for Cooper Francis to storm home like a steam train and managed to salvage 5 points in a dead heat. Let's look at the leaderboard after race number 2, where we see Po Boy on 8, Cooper Francis and Chris Hood on 6. Griffin Soul sits on 4 points.
This just in. A heavily armed convict has just escaped. Drivers, beware.
He's right on our tails, Dad.
What do you think I should do?
Kick it in a fit and dust him.
Way ahead of you, partner.
The 300 horsepower Mustang GT convertible.
He's back.
Hang on.
Bad guys not included.
Let's do it again, Dad.
Welcome back to the channel for Sam Sparacio'S Mustang Challenge, race number 3. Chris Hood and Cooper Francis sharing the honours at the front of the grid. Lights begin to count down. Out they go, the cars take off. That's an even start. Cooper Francis gets the whole shot. Po Boy's rolled behind. Chris Hood's taken over and takes the easy victory. He wins in a time of 5.18 seconds over Cooper Francis and Griffin Soul in 3rd. It's a DNF for Po Boy. He rolled severely up the top corner. Didn't make it out of turn number 2 and found himself on the grass. He failed to negotiate turn number 1. Tried to take out the Pepsi signs. That's not ideal. Disappointing run for Po Boy, but a great run by Chris Hood. Decent time of 5.18 seconds. Good run there by Cooper Francis. and Griffin Soul rolling in there in third. Just taps him in the backside as they go across the finish line. Let's check out the scores after race number 3. Chris Hood's opened up a lead now with 2 wins. He sits on 11 over Francis, Po Boy and Griffin Soul on 6. Drivers have changed lanes. They're ready to roll here for the final time at the Valley. Chris Hood and Griffin Soul up the front of the grid for the final time today. Lights go out. That's an even start there by both the front runners. Chris Hood has the whole shot, gets out of control. Po Boy takes over. He spins out, hangs on. Po Boy gets the 5 points in the last race of the day over a fast finishing Chris Hood. Griffin Soul for third, and Cooper Francis claims 1 point for his total in fourth in the final race of the day at the Valley. Well, Chris Hood and Griffin Soul neck and neck around turn number 2 before Chris Hood got out of control. Po Boy took his opportunity then. He got out of control one more time. Managed to hang on over Chris Hood in a time of 5.37 seconds here at Thunder Valley. That's going to make things interesting on the leaderboard. Let's go and check it out. Final time today, we see Chris Hood. He goes on through to the prelims on 14 points. Joining him is Po Boy on 13. Narrowly edging out Cooper Francis on 11 and Griffin Soul there on 8. But it was all about Chris Hood in the 2018 GT. Also Po Boy. These two boys were a cut above the rest here today. Congratulations to those drivers. Sadly, we have to say goodbye to Cooper Francis, who performed very well today but just couldn't get the job done. Also leading us is Griffin Soul in the yellow convertible. Let's come back and have a look what's happening next week here at Thunder Valley. It's semi-final number 3, where we will see Jim Lysenring going around in the blue Johnny Lightning. Joining him in the Mustang convertible is Simon from Hot Car Track. Finalist number 3 next week will be David Sparacio in the 2012 Boss 302 Mustang. And the last finalist from Spoolheads Racing is John Alexander in the black GT. If you've liked what you've seen, please consider subscribing to the channel. And remember to come back next week for more racing brought to you by Sparacio'S Speed Shop and QC Racing. We'll be back next Saturday with semi-final number 4 of Sam Sparacio'S Mustang Challenge.